Hello and welcome. I'm Chris, she's Anne-Marie, and this is your weekly dollop of Jibber-Jabber. Now, AM, it is that time of week again when I ask you this question. Is there anything that's irked you? Is there anything that has bamboozled you? Or is there anything you just simply want to share with us? This is your time. Over to you.
Well, I'm not going to lie to you, Chris. I'm not going to lie. This week I'm struggling a little bit.
Why? Tell us why.
My daughter's starting a brand spanking new school. So I've got a little bit of parent anxiety going on there. So I've been trying...
How have you been dealing with this? Any tips for us or, other parents out there?
Well, as it goes, I have found really interesting tips online. So I'm going to read them out to you and then I will go through the steps that I've taken myself.
Ooh, okay.
Tips for managing...
We'll wait with bated breath.
I know. Tips for managing parental anxiety. So practice healthy stress management skills. Take steps to avoid catastrophes. Develop a mindfulness routine, embrace change, lean on other parents for support, schedule me time, focus on one thing at a time, and set winnable goals. I think these are really, really interesting factors. And I am definitely trying to embrace change, as I'm sure there are many parents out there trying to do the same at the moment, especially given the new autumn term going into school, lots of children facing changes and challenges. So definitely embrace change. Try and pick out the really amazing factors in the change and lean on other parents for support. I've definitely done that. There's a few of us in the same boat and we've all sort of helped each other through it, I guess. Which is really lovely.
Parents that lean on each other, stay together. No, do you know what though? I think that regardless whether you've got children or not, I think these are really great tips with just dealing with general anxiety as well, right? So, me time, I think that's really important, especially as a parent. I'm sure you'll agree that there's probably very little of that.
Yeah.
But I think making me time is also another it's a vital bit of us, We must remember that you're an individual.
Yeah, definitely. Remember. And not just that, having your own little bit of space just helps you to reset and refocus and gives you a little bit more energy. So definitely have some me time because I think that's really natural and really healthy as well.
Well, I've got to say, some really blimmin' brilliant tips there from you. Anything else now? Before we crack on, is there anything else you want to sort of say?
Well, do you know what? Summer holidays have ended and check out the weather. What is the yellow thing going on in the sky?
It is boiling.
I know.
What is that yellow thing high above?
I don't know.
It is absolutely flipping boiling.
I know.
More on the weather later on. Now, if you could choose to eat only one condiment for the rest of your life, what would that be? Condiment.
Oh.
So we've got like our mustard, our tomato ketchup, our brown sauce, our mayo. I guess is salt and pepper a condiment?
Salt, vinegar, pepper, vinegar. They're all condiments. If I had to choose one, salt. Oh, I'm horrific. Yeah, salt. Only because you put salt on your chips. You put salt in. Well, I do. I shouldn't do, but I do. I put salt in my veg if I'm doing a roast dinner or any veg really that we're doing. Potatoes, if we're doing boiled potatoes, I'll add salt. Got to keep salt.
Do you know, it's interesting you said that. We went to college with a guy who was the year below us, and do you not remember he had salt on absolutely everything? And we're not talking just a little bit, we're talking like he would pour the salt on top of like his chips, his chicken. Do you remember him?
Oh, okay, yeah. I didn't realise that though. I didn't realise he liked that much salt.
He would have it on everything. Like he'd have plain everything and then just pour salt on it. For me though, I've got to say, I'm going to pick mayo.
Really?
I love mayo. I'll have it with absolutely everything. Spaghetti bolognese. I'll have it on chips.
Oh,
I just love mayo.
Spaghetti bolognese with mayo.
Yeah.
Wrong.
I love it.
Wrong. The only thing I will say, right, is although I don't go out of my way to put mayonnaise with spaghetti bolognese, that's just wrong. I do quite...
Don't dice your words, Em. Say what you
I
really
know.
feel.
Exactly. That's why we're here, though, right? I do quite
Is it?
like spaghetti bolognese with a dollop of
Yeah.
coleslaw.
Ooh,
Oh,
that's good. I like a lasagna with some coleslaw.
oh yes, that's
And
another
of course
one.
mayo.
Same
Yeah,
sort of
I
thing,
do
though,
like
isn't
that.
it?
It is, very similar. Is there a condiment that you absolutely are like, no, not having that?
Salad cream.
Salad cream. You're not a fan of the salad cream?
No,
Oh.
no, not a
What is it
fan of
about you don't
salad
like
cream.
so much?
I just don't like it. I think it's really vinegary and not for me.
Yeah, it can be. Do you know what? Like a really cheap salad cream can be very vinegary. I'd agree with that. But I do agree in general they're quite vinegary, aren't they? I don't know if I have one that I absolutely say no to that I can think of off the top of my head. But a lot of people don't like pepper, do they? Pepper's one
No,
that's not
I
necessarily that
quite like
popular.
pepper, especially
I like pepper.
if we're adding it into some mashed swede or mashed potatoes
Oh,
or...
yes.
Yeah,
With butter
yeah,
and real butter, right?
obviously.
Obviously. Well, yeah, that's us on the condiments then. I think me for mayo, you for your salt.
Yeah.
Salt, like, and I think if anybody was struggling to sleep at night, now knowing that information, they're going to sleep like a newborn baby.
Absolutely.
Never have I ever,
Oh.
never have I ever cheated on a test. I'm going to be honest. I was sitting my Welsh GCSEs and my Welsh GCSE, I should say, it wasn't like multiples, thank God. And I was struggling, right? Really struggling. So I wrote all the answers and put them in my pencil case. Do you know what the absolute shame of this is? Isn't that I cheated on the test? Listen, it was 20 odd years ago. I'm not going to be ashamed that I cheated on a test. This is the shame though. I didn't even do that well. Like, I think I might have still failed.
When we were in school, we couldn't have gotten away with that anyway because our pencil cases had to be the clear pencil cases going into GCSEs.
Oh, that seems very strict.
Yeah.
Mind you.
Yeah.
I cheated in a test.
Yeah, well, but we had no choice. We had to do RE short course.
Oh, okay, yeah.
On that particular day, I had...
And for everybody that doesn't know, RE is religious education.
Yeah, religious education studies.
Yeah.
It was a short course that our whole year had to sit, so we had to do it. I wasn't overly interested.
Let's be honest, I don't think many people are interested in RE. Really?
No.
You know, it's not the most sort of sprightly of subjects.
Some people are really into some subjects and some people are not.
Yeah.
It was just one of them subjects that didn't really grip me. No
interest at all?
No interest, no. I loved subjects like history.
I loved history.
Yeah.
English? I loved English.
English was okay. Welsh was okay. Maths, no, not for me. Anyway, RE short course.
Have I said this before? When I was in school, I had a maths teacher, may not be alive anymore, Mr. Dyer, and he would come into the room and he would say, "In this room, I am God."
Oh,
honestly, yes, balmy.
Our maths teacher, do you know what? It's bonkers. Our maths teacher would come into the room, and before starting the lesson, she'd go around every single individual in the room and say, "Have you done your homework? Have you done your homework? Have you done your homework?" She'd get to me and say, "I'll see you in detention." Then she'd move on to the next person. So she knew me inside out.
She was a wise lady.
Yeah. But then come parent teacher evening, it would always be, "Oh, Anne-Marie's brilliant." And I'd sit there thinking, really? Anyway, I didn't pay her.
But this is the thing though, isn't it? I think you can be a great student, but not necessarily hand in the homework, because I'm sure you were very polite in the class and you sat there and listened and did all of that stuff. You just didn't do your homework.
I looked like I was listening and I didn't do my homework.
Exactly.
Yeah. Anyway, back to RE short course. We had to do RE short course for GCSEs. And in this particular exam, I just so happened to have a really, really horrific cold on the day and I had to take tissues in.
Oh. Did you write it on the tissues?
Yeah.
Oh, that is genius.
Yeah.
We probably should
But I
say,
still
full disclaimer, if
failed.
anybody...
Didn't help me any.
You still,
I still failed.
what is that? We both still failed.
I don't
And
know.
in fact, now you're saying this short course, I think my Welsh was a short course as well, because I was so atrocious at Welsh that I don't even think it was a proper... It was a short thing. I don't think it was a proper qualification, and I still flunked it anyway.
Yeah, I failed anyway.
But we see, so what have we learned? Cheating in tests is not good.
Doesn't work anyway.
We don't just fail the test, we fail ourselves, AM.
We do. We failed ourselves, Chris. We failed ourselves. Might I just add, while I was also in that exam, when I came out of the exam, my friend said, do you know what? I couldn't understand it. She said, every time I looked at you, you weren't doing the exam. You were looking up at the tiles on the ceiling, counting them.
What were you doing?
Just counting the tiles on the ceiling.
And that's how interested you were in that subject.
Yeah. So there you go.
Did anyone actually take RE as a GCSE in your school?
We had to do a short course. But yes, I think there were...
Oh, even at GCSE level?
Yeah, it was a GCSE.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, but I think...
No, I don't think anyone did in mine.
Oh, yeah, with us we had to.
Well, again, we've learned something new today. Now, what is your love language? Or should I say, do you know what the love languages are? Because there are 5 of them.
No.
Brief, but sharp. No. Well, let me enlighten you what the love languages are. So, as I said, there are 5 love languages. So the first one is words of affirmation. The second is physical touch. The third, receiving gifts. 4th, quality time. And the 5th is acts of service. So words of affirmation, how to communicate this if this is your love language. Encourage and affirm, appreciate and listen actively. So basically affirming words and being positive, like thank you for doing that for me, that kind of vibe. That's how you feel loved. Physical touch, so it's non-verbal use of body language and touch to show love. Receiving gifts, this is thoughtfulness, make your spouse a priority. So basically this is literally giving gifts. People feel loved when they receive gifts. Quality time, so this is uninterrupted and focused conversations. One-on-one time is important. And acts of service, let them know you are wanting to help to lighten their load. So this could be things like an act of service, be like, I'll do the dishes tonight, don't you worry about that. From those little 5, what do you think that your love language would be? For you, what is important? Is it important for words of affirmation, so being told like, thank you for doing that for me, I really appreciate you, that kind of thing? Is it more about physical touch, so like you feel loved when your partner is like hugging you or, just being intimate with you? Receiving gifts, so like you feel affirmed and your partner loves you when they're actually giving you gifts, no matter how big or small, but they're physically giving you something. Quality times, it's just like one-on-one time, you and your partner together, just the two of you. Or is it acts of service? So when your partner says, I'm going to go and empty the bins, is that where you feel, oh God, yeah, I feel loved?
No, I think for me, words are a massive thing. Huge. I can't say gifts because my husband is not romantic. He doesn't do gifts. And that's okay with me. Yeah, that's okay with me. I think we've discussed this.
I think we did. I remember him giving you a gift card, which had nothing on it, which sounded awful. But then it turned out he didn't put anything on it because he just wanted you to have whatever you wanted. So it turned out it was actually because it was the worst gift. We were talking about the worst gifts we'd ever received. That's right. And you put that one. And then suddenly it was like, that's not a worst gift. That's really lovely, actually.
Yeah, I'll just pay for it myself. Thanks. Yeah, so I can't say gifts, to be honest. I do like it when we sort of do the housework between us. Just lightens the load a little bit, doesn't it?
So sort of, so I guess maybe you've got a couple of love languages there. Maybe you're not just fully on one. No. Maybe it is words of affirmation and what was the last one? Acts of service. Maybe those are your love languages. Yeah. For me, I've got to say, I think it is physical touch. I think that is like my love language. I think, and that's not necessarily like, we're not talking sexual, but just in terms of hugs, like that is like my love language in general. I think gifts don't really interest me at all. I'm not impressed by gifts. And I think sometimes, especially we live in a world where social media is so prevalent in our lives, we all more or less will have it. And we see stuff and you see people that they appear to be really overly generous and sharing what gifts they've received. And that just does nothing for me at all. I also do quite like words of affirmation as well. I think that's nice. But yeah, I'd probably have to pick physical touch. That would be my love language. Aww. Had you ever heard of this before?
No,
before I brought it up today? No, it's fascinating, isn't
Yeah.
it? You can do tests and everything. So you can have a look out there to just Google it. Obviously, my big friend Google. Get yourself on Google, and you can do a test, and it will actually, by answering the questions, it will reveal what your love language actually is.
Can I just
So this is
say,
how I
though, in
know.
case my husband ever does listen to this, like, I'm not going
Yeah.
to knock back any sort of romance. If you do want to get gifts, you're more than welcome. More than welcome.
Shower them upon me. Word of the week. Now, word of the week this week is xanthopsia, spelt Xanthopsia. Now, do you have any idea what this word means?
No, but it sounds Greek.
Well, it is a visual condition where things appear yellow.
Oh.
So this is actually a condition, and apparently Vincent van Gogh had this condition, which is potentially why he used a lot of yellow in his artwork. Allegedly, this is not obviously confirmed, but yeah, this is what it means. So that is the word of the week.
Wow, that's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a good word though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Don't know if you're going to be able to drop that into a sentence unless you directly ask
I
somebody.
don't even think I'd be able to pronounce it.
Yeah, it took me a while. I'm going to be honest. But it's a good
Is it
word.
one of them
I do
words
love
that
it.
you had to Google?
I did Google it, yeah, and I Googled like how to pronounce it. Shall I tell you a little secret? I'm still not completely confident that I'm pronouncing it correctly now. So if I have pronounced it incorrectly, flood us with your comments, and I will stand corrected. Thank you very much, and good day to yourselves. The weekly debate. Now, do you know what? On reflection, I don't know whether you and I debate very well, because we call it the weekly debate, but ultimately, I think it's just you and I chatting a little bit, isn't it?
But I know what you're talking about, really.
This week, it is this question. Should alcohol be illegal? What are your thoughts on this?
No, not when it is used sensibly.
Well, this is the thing, isn't it? So before the show, we were discussing, and I had said that this weekend just gone, I'd gone out for my first night out in, I don't even know, I think it's like 4, maybe 5 years. And I did consume quite a lot of alcohol. And the following day, I was not feeling too tip-top. And for me, I sort of think, do you know what? Actually, I'm done now for another 4 or 5 years. For me, it's all about lunches and going to gigs. But you make a valid point if it's consumed responsibly. And I think especially with younger people, often binge drinking, especially, so this might be a little bit of a weird edit because AM had to go onto the front door.
Sorry.
But we're going to keep it in because that's what we do on this show.
Apologise.
There was a ring of the doorbell and she was gone. So we were talking about, you made a very valid point in that if alcohol is consumed responsibly, then no, it shouldn't be illegal. However, I guess I don't know what the stats on this are, but especially with young people, binge drinking is quite prevalent, and often, even with older people in their 20s, 30s, and 40s, alcohol can be abused because a lot of people come home and sink a bottle of red wine of an evening,
Yeah,
and that's it, isn't it? Those little habits creep up on you. But I suppose for me, I don't really drink anymore. I'm a sort of bit of a lightweight now, but in my youth, because I've now got a walking stick. But I was out 5 nights a week, 6 nights a week, whatever. And yeah, and I don't know. I think, God, if alcohol had been illegal, I probably would be running the world right now. Because I wouldn't have wanted to be out all the time. I'm torn on this one. I am torn. What are your thoughts?
I'm very torn because, as you say, there's so many people that abuse it, isn't there? Binge drinking, addiction, often through no fault of their own, unfortunately. So for them reasons, I guess it wouldn't be a bad thing. But I mean, when alcohol is used wisely, alcohol can be a great hand sanitizer. It can be great for cleaning wounds.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly.
Can be good for de-stressing.
That's very practical use. Yeah, no, don't get me wrong. I enjoy it like a glass of red wine. I really do. But I don't enjoy now the aftermath of heavy drinking. And Sunday, let me tell you, I was not good. I mean, I was better than I thought I was going to be, but I did not feel good. And then it becomes a waste of a day,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So you go out like on the Friday and then the whole weekend is wasted just getting over it. But I think, okay, so in 2019, 15% of adults aged 16 and above reported binge drinking in the previous week. 19% of males reported binge drinking in the previous week compared to 12% of females. So I suppose, binge drinking is still a thing. It's not like, oh, yeah, when you were young. I guess it still happens. This is from 2019, so a couple of years back. And obviously, as well, that's pre-pandemic. So maybe things are slightly different now as well. Oh, do you know what? I don't think that I'm necessarily going to say that I think it should be illegal, but perhaps there should be limits.
Yes.
Like, even if you go out, perhaps you should be limited. But that feels very dictating to people. I don't know, but I feel like we should make an answer. We should have an answer on this, because otherwise, I'll feel a little bit like I'm sort of avoiding the question.
I personally don't think alcohol should be made illegal, but maybe stricter laws need to come into play.
Yeah, I agree with this, actually. Because do you remember when, during the pandemic, when you couldn't order more than 2 of something when you did your shop, or you couldn't buy a certain amount, because it was all about, like, we didn't know, like, where the supplies were coming from and all that kind of malarkey.
And you think of the likes of paracetamol and over-the-counter medication, you can only buy so many of them.
Yeah, this is correct, actually. Okay, yeah, I'm going to go with, my answer is, I don't think it should be completely illegal, but I think perhaps that it should be more monitored and there should be a limit set upon it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God, did we just agree with another thing? What is going on?
I don't know.
We're spending way too much time together. Now, the review section. We've come to the section of the week where we review, and this week we are looking at Just Eat. Now, I don't have all the names of the restaurants attached to these reviews, and these are just some of the funniest reviews that I feel like I found. But it's not just the review that was left. This week, we're giving the owners of the restaurants their voice as well. So this is mostly about the response to bad reviews that customers have left and owners have responded to the bad ratings. Are you somebody that uses things like Just Eat and platforms like that, or?
Personally, I have been known to use. Oh, it's not Just Eat. What's the other one?
Is it Deliveroo?
Not Deliveroo.
I can't think of the other ones. What other food services are there? Is it the? Oh, what's it called?
You know the one I mean, don't you? Uber Eats.
Obviously, I'm going to edit this down because that was a hell of a pause. But basically, Amory and I couldn't figure out the word Uber Eats. Yeah, I never had. Have you ever left a bad review? Because we've talked about these on the last couple of shows about reviews. But have you ever left a bad review?
I'm really, really awful in the sense that 9 times out of 10, when these things come up, I genuinely there and then don't have time to review, so I press do it later.
You and me both. I never do unless they just allow me to star things. I can't be bothered, quite frankly. But I did dive deep and I did find some reviews. So this week, this one is going to come up a few times because at the Oriental Express in Pudsey, this restaurant owner is quite renowned for responding to bad reviews. So I think we've got a couple coming up from these. So Chris writes, giving them a 3.5 star, overpriced, portions are small, onion rings are awful, salt and pepper box was tiny for £8.80, last time we ever ordered from here. The Oriental Express replies, sorry our food is not free and the size of a swill bucket.
Oh, wow.
Taking back the power.
So... yeah, okay, but I was always brought up with one question. Do 2 wrongs make a right?
No, they do not, but they sure as hell make you feel better. Moving on to Kim's little review. Now, Kim has only given this 1.5 stars. I'm not sure what the restaurant is called, but this is what Kim has to say. Food was good, but when I rang to ask where it was when it was late, they just replied, it's on its way. The response from the owner is, that is a strange comment, Kim. What did you want us to say? Which is true, right? Your food's on its way. What do you want us to say, Kim?
They're stuck in traffic.
Now, Lily ordered her food from Grill King. Have no idea where this is. I'm assuming somewhere in the UK. Don't know. Lily writes, very late and not even what I ordered. And then there's an FM, which I think is just a typing error. The Grill King replies, "Hi Lily, your food was delivered in 40 minutes. The driver gave it to you in your driveway where you were found throwing up. Hope you're okay." So basically, Lily's been on a night out, got absolutely trolleyed, thrown up on her drive, and has thought the food has taken longer than it has. Kind of goes back to our other point. Should alcohol be illegal?
Should it? Dun, dun,
Should it?
dun.
Lily, over to you. Now, Ethan has given this place a 1 star.
Oh.
Just 1 star from Ethan, and it's Street Burger. So £4.50, this is what Ethan writes, £4.50 for chips that were soggy and cold, and £8 for something for a cold hot dog in a soggy bun. Lovely stuff, $14.50, and an hour and a half later, I'm ordering McDonald's. This is what Street Burger replied. "Hi Ethan, thank you for your kind review. What you failed to mention is that you asked our driver for her phone number, and then when she politely refused, you told her you were going to leave us a bad review. In the future, do not order from us." That is a company looking after their staff, right?
Yeah.
And rightfully so. I think that, yeah, well done, Street Burger. The last one of the week this one's my personal favourite. Harry has given this restaurant 2.5 stars, and this is what Harry has to say. "Was okay, food came late and cold." I'm not going to tell you what the name of the restaurant is because it gives the game away, but this is what the restaurant responded with. "Hi there, Harry. Milkshakes are usually cold. I didn't know that you could do a hot milkshake, and you had a piece of cheesecake. Sorry, I apologize that I didn't boil your milkshake from you." And this is from the Milkshake City.
Oh.
Harry whinging that his milkshake and cheesecake was cold. Have you ever had a hot milkshake and a hot
No.
slice of cheesecake?
No, I can't say I have.
No?
Hot chocolate is probably the closest.
The closest, like a chocolate milkshake, but it's not.
Yeah.
And that's this week's reviews. This week's show is all gone. It's in a blink of an eye. It's over. But don't worry, we're back next week for a little bit more. Done and dusted. I have been Chris, of course. She has been Amory. And as ever, this is Jibber-Jabber.